The Houston Texans have flipped the NFL upside down, and nobody saw this coming. 1 month ago, critics whispered that last season was a fluke, but now CJ Stroud lasers bullets through coverage. Nico Collins glides past defenders like they are invisible, and explosive plays from rookie talent turn broken chaos into touchdowns. This is not a lucky streak, it is a full-blown revolution that has every contender scrambling to find answers they do not have. What makes Houston truly terrifying is how they are rewriting games before halftime. They do not wait for momentum. They create it instantly, like their 17-0 first-quarter demolition of Arizona, where every snap felt like a statement. CJ Stroud is not just managing games. He is dictating them with surgical precision, while Nico Collins makes impossible catches, look routine, and special teams ace Jalen Noel flips the field with one electric return. The AFC used to wonder if Houston belonged. Now they are forcing opponents to question if they can survive a single quarter against this buzzsaw. But here is what nobody is talking about. This offense is no longer riding on CJ Stroud's shoulders alone. Hidden beneath the highlight reels is a ground game transforming from an afterthought into a weapon so brutal it reshapes entire defenses. It starts with a rookie running back who treats contact like a suggestion, and a practice squad surprise burning up the sidelines. Next, we expose how Houston built football's most dangerous rushing attack nobody saw coming. But before we jump into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Texans and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 300 likes on this video. Nobody expected Houston's running backs to become game wreckers, but that is exactly what happened. Early this season, the Texans struggled to move the chains on the ground, but now their backfield operates like a precision weapon. Woody Marks, a rookie with ice in his veins, turns fumbles into touchdowns, fighting through piles like a veteran, while practice squad revelation Jahar Jordan slices through defenses with sudden cuts nobody can predict. This isn't just improvement, it's a complete identity shift happening faster than anyone in the NFL realized. The secret lies in the trenches, where Houston's offensive line transforms every snap into a war of wills. They blast off the ball climb to linebackers and seal edges so perfectly that Woody Marks runs through arm tackles like they don't exist, and Jahar Jordan hits the second level untouched. Against Arizona, they allowed 0 sacks, opened massive holes for 101 yards from Jordan, and turned a simple handoff to Marks into a highlight reel touchdown after he scooped a loose ball mid-chaos. Defense is no longer key on CJ Stroud alone, because this ground attack forces them to respect every gap, every snap, and every threat. What's truly dangerous is how this pounding style sets fire to Houston's entire game plan. Long drives drain clocks, soften pass rushes, and hand CJ Stroud clean pockets for surgical strikes downfield. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. This physical ground game doesn't just help the offense, it supercharges the defense and special teams too. When Houston controls time of possession, their defense stays fresh and hungry, ready to pounce on mistakes and flip games in seconds. Next, we break down how that defensive fury turns opponents' hope into despair. CJ Stroud isn't just playing quarterback anymore, he's conducting an orchestra of chaos that leaves defenses paralyzed before the snap. 1 month ago, analysts questioned if he could carry Houston alone, but now he's dissecting coverages with a calmness that defies his experience. Against Arizona, he didn't just throw 3 touchdowns, he dismantled game plans with no interceptions, threading needles to Nico Collins on deep fades and finding Dalton Schultz in ghost windows where only one hand could snatch the ball. This isn't a young star finding his footing, it's a generational talent realizing his ceiling mid-season. The real magic happens when pressure comes and CJ Stroud makes it look like practice drills. While other quarterbacks panic, he slides left, resets his feet, and delivers frozen ropes off his back foot, like that impossible third down strike to Nico Collins with 2 defenders draped on him. He's stopped forcing throws into traffic, instead exploiting what defenses surrender with checkdowns that bleed clock and methodical drives that drain hope. When Houston's offensive line gives him time, CJ Stroud turns good plays into great ones and great plays into soul-crushing momentum swings that ripple across all 3 phases. But here's what changes everything for Houston. This offense no longer needs perfect conditions to explode. CJ Stroud has mastered the art of turning broken plays into touchdowns and short fields into routes, which means even when drives stall, his weapons can flip the game in seconds. That reliability ignites a chain reaction where the defense plays with swagger, knowing points are coming, and special teams attacks with fearless energy. Next, we expose how that energy isn't just confidence, it's a calculated demolition of opponents' willpower. Houston's secret weapon isn't just scoring points, it's stealing opponents' hearts in a single play. While everyone watches CJ Stroud's arm, the real terror comes from defenders like Kamari Lassiter, who snatches interceptions out of thin air, and special teams demon Jamal Hill, whose bone-jarring hits force fumbles that change entire seasons. Against Arizona, Jalen Noel, a rookie return specialist, didn't just gain yards, he flipped the field twice before halftime, turning momentum into Houston's personal playground. This isn't complimentary football, it's a coordinated assault that makes opponents feel the game is lost before it truly begins. The numbers tell a brutal story. Houston's defense doesn't wait for opportunities, it creates them. Kamari Lassiter's pick six against Arizona came on a ball. Most corners would let sail. Instead, he read the quarterback's eyes and sprinted untouched to the end zone. Jamal Hill's forced fumble on a kickoff wasn't luck. It was calculated violence that dropped perfectly into Dare Ogunbowale's hands. Even kicker Kaimi Fairbairn became a weapon drilling clutch kicks to convert every defensive stop into points. When your third phase consistently manufactures short fields, your offense doesn't just play ahead. It plays with a psychological edge that demoralizes elite teams. What nobody predicted is how this three-phase fury feeds itself. Every Jalen Noel return electrifies the sideline. Every Kamari Lassiter takeaway fuels CJ Stroud's confidence, and every forced turnover lets Houston's offense rest while the defense stays fresh. But here's the terrifying reality for the rest of the AFC. This machine didn't just wake up against Arizona, it's been quietly perfected while the entire conference slept. Next, we reveal how Week 15's earthquake reshaped the playoff landscape and why Houston now holds the detonator. While Houston crushed Arizona, the entire AFC landscape shattered around them in ways nobody predicted. The Jacksonville Jaguars didn't just win, they annihilated the New York Jets 48-20, behind Trevor Lawrence's 6 total touchdowns and Travis Etienne's 3 scores, proving they refused to fade from the division race. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, disaster struck as Patrick Mahomes crumpled with a torn ACL, a moment that erased an entire dynasty's hopes overnight, and handed the Los Angeles Chargers a 16-13 win that reshaped the wildcard ladder. This wasn't just another week of football, it was a seismic event that cleared paths and created openings nobody saw coming. The ripple effects hit every contender like a wrecking ball. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens stunned Cincinnati with a 24-0 shutout, exposing cracks in Joe Burrow's Bengals, while the Denver Broncos' comeback win over Green Bay kept their playoff pulse alive, setting up a critical clash with Jacksonville. Even games outside Houston's division mattered as the Philadelphia Eagles blanked Las Vegas, and the Chicago Bears toppled Cleveland, shifting seeds and wildcard math with every snap. For the Texans, this chaos wasn't noise, it was opportunity. With Kansas City eliminated and Jacksonville refusing to stumble Houston's path to January, suddenly looked wider and brighter than anyone dared hope just days ago. But here's the brutal truth: Houston didn't get these gifts, they earned the right to capitalize on them. While other teams rely on past reputations, the Texans built something real week after week, turning doubters into believers through sheer execution. That mental shift from survivors to hunters is what truly separates them now. Next, we reveal how a team that started 0-3 transformed its soul and why this version of Houston believes it belongs among legends. Remember when Houston stumbled to 0-3 and fans feared the worst? The whispers were everywhere. Was CJ Stroud's rookie magic fading? Did the front office build the wrong pieces around him? Even Nico Collins' brilliance felt like a flickering light in a stormy season. Back then, every win felt like a miracle. Now it feels like routine. This team didn't just find confidence, they rewired their DNA, treating fourth-quarter leads not as relief, but as launch pads for destruction. The same group that once panicked under pressure now walks into stadiums expecting to impose their will from the opening snap. What changed wasn't just talent, it was trust. CJ Stroud stopped carrying the offense alone and started trusting Dalton Schultz to convert impossible third downs, trusting Kamari Lassiter to erase deep threats, and trusting rookie spark plugs like Jalen Noel to flip fields when games hung in the balance. Coaches stopped playing not to lose and started attacking with tempo that suffocates opponents. When Houston trailed early this season, panic spread. Now they smile, knowing their three-phase machine will grind you down slowly, then all at once. That belief turned close losses into blowouts and made NRG Stadium a place where contenders arrive hopeful and leave haunted. This psychological warfare terrifies the NFL more than any stat sheet. Teams don't just lose to Houston, they unravel, watching their game plans evaporate before halftime. But here's the brutal reality for every AFC playoff hopeful: this Texans team isn't satisfied with wildcard scraps anymore. They smell blood in the water, and their next three opponents stand directly between them and a championship mindset. Next, we break down the gauntlet that will either forge Houston into a true contender or expose them as pretenders. Houston's season hinges on 3 brutal weeks where legacy is forged, not given. First up, the Las Vegas Raiders, a wounded team with nothing left to lose after a humiliating 31-0 shutout in Philadelphia. They'll storm into NRG Stadium hungry to ruin Houston's perfect home record and silence the hype with physicality and desperation. This isn't a tune-up game, it's a trap designed to test whether the Texans can avoid complacency when the lights shine brightest and the stakes transform from hope to expectation. Next, Houston flies to Los Angeles for a quarterback duel that could rewrite the AFC wildcard race. Justin Herbert and the Chargers just buried Kansas City and now stand directly in Houston's path, needing a win to stay alive. Every CJ Stroud deep shot will clash with Herbert's rocket arm, while Kamari Lassiter's coverage faces its toughest test against a receiving core built for chaos. Win here, and the Texans don't just claim a playoff spot, they announce themselves as giants. Lose, and suddenly, that 6-game win streak looks like a mirage against weaker foes. The final test arrives in Indianapolis, where Philip Rivers' Colts play spoiler with playoff dreams of their own. This isn't just another division game, it's a war of attrition where Houston's rebuilt offensive line must withstand a ferocious front, and rookie runners like Woody Marks prove they can grind out December wins in freezing conditions. Beat the Colts on their turf, and the Texans don't just win the AFC South, they prove they belong in the championship conversation. But here's the brutal truth: one misstep in this gauntlet erases everything and transforms a magical run into a cautionary tale. Next, we confront the question haunting every NFL analyst: is Houston's rise real or a fleeting December dream? The Houston Texans stand one win away from the playoffs, but the real battle rages in every fan's mind. Is this team a December mirage or the birth of something historic? They've got CJ Stroud's ice-cold poise, Nico Collins' unstoppable roots, and a rookie like Jalen Noel flipping games on special teams. Yet history whispers warnings about young squads peaking too soon, teams that dazzle in December only to vanish in January's spotlight. What separates Houston isn't just talent, it's a quiet hunger that turns skeptics into believers, one explosive drive at a time. This isn't about stats or streaks, it's about DNA. Teams like the 2018 Bears or 2020 Dolphins flashed brilliance, then folded when the lights burned brightest. Houston's test isn't yards or points, it's resilience. Can Woody Marks drag defenders through snow in Indianapolis? Can Kamari Lassiter shut down playoff-tested receivers when seasons hang in the balance? True contenders don't just win, they absorb punches and smile while delivering knockout blows. The Texans have shown flashes of that killer instinct, but January's furnace exposes every flaw, every doubt, every secret fear hiding behind the hype. The answer won't come from analysts or highlight reels, it lives in Houston's locker room right now. When CJ Stroud walks into the huddle against the Raiders or Philip Rivers stares down his final shot at glory, will this team flinch or forge its legacy? We're watching a crossroads moment where football history splits between teams we forget and teams we never stop talking about. Smash that like button if you believe Houston's rise is real. Subscribe for our playoff survival guide breaking down every snap against Las Vegas. Comment below, how many playoff rounds can they win? If we hit 500 likes, we drop an exclusive film room session exposing CJ Stroud's secret weapons against the Chargers. The clock is ticking. The world is watching. And Houston's truth starts now.